Hi folks, welcome to the Ham Radio Newbie. I'm Jeff, I'm the Ham Radio Newbie. Today I'm going to do something that I promised some time ago and I finally got it finished today. That is the Yagi Uda antenna tape measure, Yagi Uda antenna. Super easy to build. I'm going to give you a link to the instructions. The whole thing cost less than $15. It was probably about $12. I did have one little piece of wire, tie wraps, and a piece of coax that were around here already, but everything else I actually bought at my local hardware store, and it's really easy to put together. Let me show you the instructions. So this is the location, just indestructibles.com, the tape measure antenna. This is based on work that other folks have done, but this is the one that I used. The instructions are right down here. Here's the materials list. I used 1 inch instead of 3/4 inch PVC. You cut, you assemble, you put this loop on, solder it down. Like I said, the soldering was the hard part. And then attach, I used coax, and I used the braided end over on this side and the centerpiece over on this side to make it attach to my radio. I just used my Baofeng UV25, worked great, and I'll show you a picture of the antenna first, and then I'm going to take in the tape that we already heard, or you may have already heard if you watched the short that shows the QSO. So let's take a look at the antenna itself. So here you have it, folks. This is the tape measure Yagi Uda that I just built. Forgive the cinematography, not my area of expertise. I'm a radio guy. Anyway, you'll notice PVC pipe, the connectors, 1 T and 2 crosses. Get lots of hose clamps, it's easier. This was just a tape measure, 1 inch wide tape measure that I got at Harbor Freight for, I think it was like $3 or $4. Then I pulled it all the way out and clipped it with just a pair of tin snips, smooth the edges. Very small piece of wire here to connect the 2 directors, and then the piece of coax, which I've got connected to the radio. As I said, my soldering is probably not the best, and it's probably the weakest section. That's one of the reasons that I used the cable ties to hold things down, to take any strain off. And I just took it outside. Let me show you how it sounded. Hi, this is Jeff, the Ham Radio Newbie. Welcome to the Ham Radio Newbie. Today I did something I've been talking about doing for a while. I finished up my tape measure Yagi Uda, and let me show that to you first, and then we're going to listen to a transmission. So here it is. These are really easy to build. Notice it's just some PVC pipe with some pieces of tape measure cut, and then on the back side here, where I'm not going to turn it over, is where it's soldered together, and then just a piece of coax going to the cable. Let's see how it works. KB5 JRC testing.
KB5 JRC, K4 JLN. You're coming through. Actually, clearer than the first time. I'd say again, 9x9 signal.
That's great. Thanks a lot. It's kind of funny because before I was holding it, and now I've actually put it down, and it's coming through clearer. So that's great. Thank you very much. 73, and I'm out for a while.
73 to you as well. K4 JLN's going to be clear.
So there you have it. It took me about an hour to build everything, with the exception of the soldering of the coax to the whichever pieces those are in the middle. That took a lot of effort, and it was hard because I couldn't get enough heat on the piece of coax, especially um, on the woven part, the ground part. It was just very hard to get that going. So that may be a cold joint, but it's holding pretty well. The other thing is I did check this for what the SWR was. It's a little bit less than 2, depending on where I am. I know people get much better than that. Maybe I'll tweak it to try to get a little bit better. But at some point in the not too distance, we're going to be listening to try to communicate on a satellite. Until then, this is Jeff, the ham radio newbie, KBR, JRC, wishing you 73 and catch you on the air. And there you have it. The tape measure Yagi Uda, easy to build, inexpensive to make, works on 2 meters, 70 centimeters, better on 2 meters. And it'll be good when I take it out next to try to talk to the space station or some of the satellites. Until then, this is Jeff, the ham radio newbie, KB5 JRC, saying 73 and catch you on the air.